Zegion, the Dungeon King, who might have just become the strongest in Rimiru's army after Volume 21 as he defeated his daddy's Alanis. At first, Zegion was the guardian of floor 80, but after becoming an overseer and evolving his strength through sparring against Veldora constantly, he has evolved to a point where now he's the strongest insector in the entire multiverse. Even Diablo had trouble against him while training. At first, he was just a beetle we saw in episode 9 of Slime Diaries, but in reality, he was born directly from Zelanis in the other world and served as an insect general. After being saved by Rimuru, he gained an exoskeleton made of magisteel and was named accordingly. Slowly over the course of the novel, Bro kept growing, especially after the Eastern Empire War, where he had surpassed the 3 primordial demonesses who failed to defeat him. Ciel even recognized Zegion as her greatest masterpiece. Like, this dude single-handedly defeated the Empire's strongest armored division members. After becoming a awakened demon lord, Zegion easily dispatched even a primordial angel Dino through his ultimate skill. His greatest feat though was when using the cells of Rimuru in his body, he was able to utilize imaginary collapse and defeat his father in Volume 21. Now, I will go deeper into Zegion. Okay, actually, I don't want to go deeper into Zegion. I want to go deeper into Apito. But anyway, I'll talk about his story in a different video, but it's probably evident now that the power scaling of the dungeon currently doesn't really make sense. How do you expect regular human adventure parties to even get past floor 50, let alone fight Zegion? Well, Rimuru feels the same way, but for like 6 volumes now, bro has been too busy with war after war to really reconfigure the dungeon. From floor 51 to 60, we start to see a higher tier of traps like laser beams, sonic cannons, and even large number of golems, which all culminates into a battle against the demon colossus piloted by one of the strongest people from the Eastern Empire, Gadora. Not the Gadora that fought Godzilla, this Gadora, this old ass, crusty ass looking dude. As a mage, Gadora can use a variety of skills due to his ultimate gift, Grimoire Gift of Magic, given to him by, of course, Ciel. In Volume 18, it's revealed that his EP is well over 1 million now, making him comparable to Soe and Beretta, who both share roughly the same number at this point. And let's not forget being buffed up after joining Diablo's house, where the only way to defeat this guy in the latest volume is if you have magic that can affect his soul. Alright, so you either need to recruit Yuji and his left-right goodnight, or you're fucked. Gadora also serves as one of the 10 dungeon marvels. Now, although the Guardians have dominion over their own floors and levels, there is also an overseer for the Labyrinth, which was a position originally assigned to Beretta, but she was too busy being Ramiris's bitch, so the title was eventually given to Zegion permanently due to his efforts in the war against the Eastern Empire. Now, I would go in more detail about this man, but that really warrants its own video, or perhaps I will explain him in the 12 Guardian Lords video. So if you want to learn more about Rimiru's strongest, or maybe second strongest, we got Diablo, make sure to like the video and let me know. After defeating Gadora, we make our way to floor 70 as we pass the Haven of the Dead, which are 10 floors worth of undead summoned by another dungeon marvel, Adelman. He was originally a saint of the Holy Western Church, but was resurrected by Gadora to become this lich-like being we see in the present day. He was cursed to Demon Lord Kazalim's land, serving as one of Clayman's 5 fingers, but this f***ing Clayman though, he saw how he was and joined the goat instead, converting to Rimiruism. Not only is he a true demon lord now, but is one of the most proficient users of holy magic alongside Shuna. Obviously though, the dungeon leans a lot into his necromancer abilities, brought about by his own ultimate gift, Necronomicon, is that how you say it? Which allows him to wield holy magic as an undead, meaning the attribute you usually use to defeat an undead doesn't really work here. If he wasn't enough of a trouble, there's also Albert, a death knight, and an undead dragon named Venti who serve as Adelman's troop. This is actually the floor Masayuki and his team got tripped up on before the Eastern Empire War, but back then Adelman was in charge of floor 60 and Gadora hadn't defected to Tempest yet. And if you thought the undead was settling, the next 10 floors are the home to several insects insects under the control of the 80th floor boss and the next floor guardian, Apito. She was born from a Paleoid alongside Zegion in the other world to serve as one of the 12 insect general, eventually being given a name and serving under Rimuru. Zegion originally served as the 80th floor boss, but after becoming overseer, this job fell to Apito. Her ultimate gift is Proserpina, Queen of Worship, which grants her thought acceleration, ultra sense, mana perception, as well as spatial domination and ultra speed action. She's a very powerful asset, being an awakened demon lord, really only being outshined by the 12 guardian lords, and furthermore, her training partner is actually Hinata. However, her versatile moveset and fast acceleration makes her an extremely tough foe, one that adventurers would have an extremely hard time with. Also, people for sure were like, come on now.
Stop it. Get some help.
But continuing down the dungeon, but if someone manages to somehow get through everything this dungeon has to offer, they'll end up on floor 100, Dwelling of the Elementals, where Veldora awaits. Now, we already talked extensively about Veldora in our True Dragons Explained video, so I don't feel a need to review this again. Guys, come on, it's freaking Veldora Tempest, the strongest friend of Rimuru, the guy who's literally called the Guardian of Tempest, as well as Rimuru's BFF. I don't have much to say here. In fact, the only person to ever make it to the bottom of the dungeon is Hinata, who got one shot by Veldora. But what's funny is that even after Veldora's chamber, there are a couple of more facilities on the 100th floor. One being Veldora's own room, as bro needs sleep. Okay, when he's on the job. What else do you do when you're working? You gotta sleep. And it's also filled with manga. So you know Veldora is bringing out Naruto while he's bored. Or if he needs to sleep, he brings out Boruto. I mean, nobody is even showing up, so what is he gonna do? You also have Rimuru and Ramiris' private labs, where 100 bone golem bodies from daemons recruited by Diablo rest, as well as Ramiris' research with Dino, Shinji, Mark, Shin, and Raymond working alongside her. This floor is also home to the Strategic Military Control Battle Command Center, or the Control Room. It houses displays of physics, magic, Argos for surveillance. What the f does that even mean? I'm sorry. That's what it's called, or what? It's literal cameras and shit, alright? That's what it's called. It's where all militaristic meetings are also held. From here, all other important facilities in the dungeon can instantly be accessed. But there is one more floor, albeit temporary. Floor 101 was created and maintained by using Veldora's magicules as fuel to supply Small World. It was an emergency floor that would hold the entirety of Tempest, the nation, and all its land within it during invasions and destructive events. I already talked about this earlier, but it's still something that greatly aids in Tempest's defense. However, there is one more marvel whose floor status is in flux currently. So while you guys wait for the next volume, watch the video about every true dragon instead.